Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is MrYorkiesWorld. This is not going to be a very familiar sight because in my previous video, if you remember, I did say that we're going to be going with Korean Air, or no, Kenya Air, or sorry, Korean? Why is it Korean Air? Anyway, we were going to be going from there. However, I have recently purchased some new UK2000, as you can see, Edinburgh scenery, EGPH. And we are going to be travelling today to Lanzarote. I thought to myself, why not? The weather is absolutely... it's just ridiculously hot. So I thought, why not? We'll do a flight to the good old Lanzarote. And what we're also going to be doing, we're actually flying with Ryanair 6626 today. And we will also be doing the return flight. So anyway, we can go ahead and put the fuel in for this flight, which is going to be 29881, or £29,881 of fuel. We can sort all the fuel pumps out and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm really excited for this flight. I mean, again, I was going to do the Kenya Airways flight, but in the end, I just decided to do a slightly shorter flight that sort of suits the weather, because the weather outside has been absolutely fantastic in the UK. Nearly 30 degrees Celsius, which for us is definitely a high. So it's going to be even warmer over there in Lanzarote anyway, so I thought, why not? Let's take some well-deserving passengers on a well-deserved break on this flight. It's going to take about 4 hours and 43 minutes, which is not too bad, but there we go. So pause in it. We can go EGPH. And we are at gate 25. Can grab the GPSL position, stick it in there like so. And we can also set the altimeter there. 3003. So EGPH, and we've also got a route already set up to GCRR. Is it going to work? No, I need to nip over to EFB and just save it. Just bear with me a moment. Seems to do this all the time. I saved the flight plan, as you can see. But for some reason, it then decides to delete it on its own. So let's try this again. So it's been saved again. Yep, it's worked. So we might as well go ahead and request clearance now.
Ryanair 6626. Parking position 25 with the 80s.
VORs, traffic and data, stuff like that.
6626. Clearance, runway 24 in use. Cleared to
Runway 24, that's 243.
Tango Lima Alpha 6 Charlie, then as filed, climb and maintain, flight level 60.
6,000.
Flight level 37010 minutes after departure.
Our cruise altitude is going to be 370 today. We are expecting a little bit of turbulence on takeoff. This is the real world time as well that this flight would take off. It says 5:24 at the moment, but it's not. It's actually 7:24. I need to set that in the FMC. Or should I say on the clock itself, just reset this time zone and it'll sort itself out. Transfer the APU power. It's a little bit early, but why not? And the catering's complete now, so we can go down and request boarding. Close the doors for the catering, because we don't need those open anymore. Runway 24 is the one in use, and our flight number is RYR6626. If I can type it in, there we go. Stick it in there, activate and execute. Our reserve fuel is 2.9 tonnes, as always, and the cost index for Ryanair is 6, I believe. Transition altitude, that's already at 6,000, which is fine, and our flight level is 370. You can see that for once in a lifetime, it's actually got it right with the transition altitude. Flaps 5 takeoff. The winds, let's just take a look. Current active weather, 230 at 13 knots, so we are going to be taking off into a little bit of turbulence. And I'll probably reflect that on the V1 speed. I'll just add like 5 knots onto that, I think. There we go. And we can just clear the warning there for a second. Right. So I need to go ahead and open the left and right entries. Or should I say the left forward and left aft entries. Why am I saying left and right? I've no idea. Passengers are on the way. We can switch the TCAS to XPDR for now and give it a quick test.
TCAS
And it's all passed, that's good. We've got some nice weather. I absolutely love UK2000 scenery. You can see that it looks absolutely amazing. We're going to just wait until the passengers have boarded. And once that's all done, we can move on to the next stage, which will be departure. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. This is why I love UK2000. Alright, so the passengers are now boarded. The time is actually 6:29. I forgot it wasn't actually 7:29, it was 6:29, which is the real world time that this aircraft actually took off with this flight number. So RYR 6626 took off around this time. So we're going to be using the TLA 6 Charlie departure from runway 24. This is the route. It's quite a long route, but then again we are flying for 4 hours and 43 minutes. Fantastic. So the passengers have been boarded, the baggage has been boarded. We can arm LNAV and VNAV now. We can close the doors. We don't want to be taking off with those open. And I'm going to stick that on the legs page, and this one can go to the takeoff ref page. Right, so auto throttle is armed. We can switch on the hydraulics and the anti-collision light. And we might as well prepare ourselves for pushback. So we're going to request permission to do that to begin with. Just get rid of the ground connections.
Ryanair 6626.
And we've been approved for startup and pushback, so that's all good. Get GSX to push us back. We're going tail left today. I am really hoping for some nice scenery. The thing is, we've bought this. I bought this UK2000 scenery from, well, obviously from UK2000. I'm wanting to fly out of this. The reason I'm doing the flight out of it and then the return flight is so that we get a full look at what it looks like on departure and also on landing. So, should be pretty rewarding. Let's try and make the most out of the scenery I've bought. Everything's looking good. 6:31 AM. I just can't get over it. I mean, we've got some traffic over there from Ultimate Traffic Live. Need to sort my EasyDock view out for the first officer's seat. It's a little bit like fisheye for some reason. Brakes released.
Clear behind. Commencing push. Engines clear. Start at your discretion.
And we can start engine number 2. Gonna go ahead and wait while 25%. Or thereabouts. Not too fussed about the exact number, to be honest. And we can go ahead and release some fuel. Look at that view. Once we get up in the air, this is a really nice departure as well. For the one time that I've actually done this since I bought the scenery, it's a really, really nice departure. There we go, engine number 2 has just begun to finalise its spool up. So the nice little puff of smoke. And there was the cutout. So we can start up engine number 1 now. Same procedure. I may well do like a tutorial series as well. I've been asked how I learnt to actually fly this aircraft. And to be honest, I've learnt myself a hell of a lot of it. But I've also watched other YouTubers. And I might just make like a very simple tutorial on how to basically get off the ground, get in the air and land. Something that's like fit for dummies, if you will. That's what I was when I first began. I was just like, I had no idea whatsoever. Got some nice Flybe aircraft there.
Push now complete. Set park brakes, please.
Push is complete, just on time, because engine number 1 is just about to... there we go. Just about to finish its spool up. We can set the parking brake, which is already done. And there was the cutout. So both engines have spooled up. We of course can put them to continuous. Probe heats can come on. And we can transfer the APU power. ISO valve's already on auto, we can switch the packs on. And we can go ahead and switch off the APU, bleeding the APU.
Tap disconnected and clear. Bypass pin is removed.
Right, trim. And flaps 5. And we can make our way over here. I need to set up a view on EasyDock again. I've been asked whether or not I'm using Chase Plane. I'm not using Chase Plane, this is actually EasyDock. I will eventually be transitioning to Chase Plane, but not just yet. I'm perfectly happy with EasyDock. For all its flaws, it's fine. So full left, we're going to do a control check now. And we can go full right. We can, of course, go down, do a full forward and full back, with a rudder left and a rudder right. That's all fine. So, taxi lights and turn-offs. Request taxi to the runway.
6626. Request taxi.
Ryanair 6626, taxi via Quebec Alpha to runway 24.
Via Quebec Alpha to runway 24. Ryanair 6626.
There we go, and we can begin the taxi to the runway now. So, as always, I'm just going to give you guys a little bit, look at that, a little bit of information about this flight. So again, we're going to be travelling from EGPH here in Edinburgh to GCRR or Lanzarote with Ryanair RYR6626. It's going to take approximately 4 hours and 43 minutes, travelling about 2,027 nautical miles according to this particular route that we're taking today. We've just departed at runway gate 25, and we're going to be departing from runway 24. Hopefully going to be landing over at runway 03 according to the weather forecast, so that should be okay. Nevertheless, that is all the information I've got. We can try and taxi our way to the runway now. I don't want to cut this bit of footage because it's a new piece of scenery and I really want to explore it. I've only done like a test flight from the active runway in like the Coronado or something like that, so I've not actually had a chance to do a full flight in like the 737. Sort of swinging the aircraft round the corner a little bit fast there, but who cares? It is very, very nice scenery. Look at that. Very well put together. Obviously the Ultimate Traffic Live is just adding all the traffic in, which makes it even better. We're going to turn right here, which will take us all the way to the threshold of runway 24. We're sort of lacking a little bit when it comes to frames, but that's only because I've got a few things such as traffic enabled. But look at that. It's not too bad at all. It probably looks better in the sim than it does on this video, because this video is obviously going to be edited and stuff. But I can't guarantee the quality of my output capture. Transponder can go to TA and R8. We've already tested it, everything's fine. And here we are coming up at the threshold. Doesn't look like there's any aircraft landing at the moment, so we should be okay to just get ourselves out of here. Slow down a little bit because we are sort of like going nearly 20 knots. And here is the holding point, or threshold, or whatever you want to call it. See if we can bring it to a nice controlled stop. And perfect. Runway's clear. We've set the parking brake. Look at the scenery though.
6626. Holding short at runway 24. Ready for departure.
Ryanair 6626. Line up runway 24.
And we can of course line up, so taxi lights off, landing on, and we can switch on the strobes as well. Wheel well can go off. That should have been switched off a little bit earlier, but nevertheless. So, as I said, when we're going to be taking off, we are probably going to be hitting some turbulence, so it's going to be pretty challenging. I'm going to try and take manual control of the aircraft for a little longer than what I usually do. Let's just try and line up the best we can. An ATC, there we go.
26, wind 230 at 13, runway 24, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 24, cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff. We can spool up to 40%. Start the clock. And of course we can go toga. And away we go. $80 knots. Staying nicely in the centre line there. V1. And rotate. Try to do a nice controlled rotation. There we go. Gear up. Look at that view. What a gorgeous view that really is. Not perfect. Like the buildings could be a little bit better placed, but there we go. See if I can try and control the aircraft by hand, just for a little bit. Just do some after takeoff checks. Switch the engines to off, or the off position.
Ryanair 6626.
Following the flight director, but look at the view, I just can't get over it. Whenever you come into good old EGPH, even before I bought the UK2000 scenery, you could guarantee that it was still absolutely fantastic. Lovely views, Orbex, FTX England and FTX Global at their best. I still haven't even got the, I think they do like an FTX Scotland or something, is it? Like Scotland scenery? I've no idea. I haven't bought that yet, but still, it is pretty impressive.
Climb to flight level 140. Climb into flight level 140. Ryanair
140.
American 278 identified. Descent to 4000.
Descending to...
Try my best to keep within the flight director. It worked for a while, but there we go. Let's just go ahead and switch the autopilot on now. Flaps up. We can set the seatbelts to auto, and that is it. We are away. Going to be hitting that turbulence very, very soon. But that view is just absolutely stunning. Got some cars on the roads down there. (6:42 AM). Might as well set the current heading. I'm quite impressed with that actually. I didn't expect myself to be able to deal with a hand flying a 747. I've not done it. 737, sorry. I've not done it in quite a while, so it was indeed quite a nice surprise. Look at that. Got the moon in the background there. Looking forward to doing the flight back. I mean, obviously the flight there, I've got some cheap Lanzarote scenery. It is not for P3D, it's for FSX. I've got no idea what it's going to look like. It's probably going to be like corrupted or something, knowing my luck, but let's just hope it looks okay when we get over there. It should do. I mean, there's no reason why not. I can't even remember where I bought it from now.
4501 with you at flight level 73.
Ryanair 6626. Climb to flight level 220.
220.
220. Ryanair.
And the weather's not actually as bad as what I thought it was. I thought we were going to have a little bit more turbulence than that, but by the looks of it, we're okay. So I may well have not updated Active Sky or something. I have no idea. But nevertheless, I will get back with you guys in just a bit. We're going to have a look at some lovely cinematics. Okay guys, so it is 9:50 AM. We are at 370 still. You can see that over there on the EFIS we are almost at our destination. 9:51 AM now. And the progress page says we should be landing about 10:58 Zulu at GCRR. Whether or not we do land there, I've no idea. You can see the waypoints on the EFIS there on the map. We're not too far away now. And if we go ahead and bring up Pro ATCX, we can see that we're going to be using the TERT 7 Papa approach, or arrival. ILS Zulu 03. There's the star. And of course we're also going to be using the BAPAL transition. And that is basically it. That's all that she wrote. Pretty straightforward landing or approach into Lanzarote today. I'm just over here on my second screen at the moment looking at EFB just to check out the good old approach. Here we go. Pretty straightforward, straight onto the ILS. 109.1 is going to be the frequency and 031 is the approach course. Decision altitude is 247. And that is basically it. You can see that BAPAL is there, that's 5,000 feet by BAPAL, and then we would go straight onto the ILS. So it's nothing too crazy. We can go ahead and set the minimums in just a second. I think we'll wait until we actually start the descent to do that though. So I will catch up with you guys in just a few minutes when we will begin our descent. Alright guys, so we are about to begin our descent now. You can see that we are still at 370. We're about 150 nautical miles away, as shown on the EFIS. 10:21 AM, and we should be landing now at 11 AM Zulu. Again, this is the approach. You can see that 247 is the decision altitude, so we're going to go ahead and put that in. And I've just clicked the wrong button, so now I need to sort that out. There we go. Stupid of me. So 247, and we can do the same on the first officer's side as well. There we are. Auto brake 2 should be sufficient for the runway. We don't really need a higher setting than that, to be honest. We could possibly get away with auto brake 1, but there we go. So we're going to initialise our descent now.
Ryanair 6626. Ryanair 6626. Send flight level 360.
So 360, it's only 1,000 feet's difference, but there we go. And what I'm going to do, instead of going ahead and activating vertical speed throughout this, let me just switch over the frequencies. I'm actually going to use the speed intervene, which can also help you control the descent. Believe it or not, the FMC itself doesn't always get it right when it comes to descending the aircraft. Not in my case, anyway. It's probably something I'm doing wrong. But just to make sure, I like to be in control of the descent myself, so in just a few moments we can do that. No need right now. I mean, we are descending at a nice, gentle rate. Everything up there looks fine. Nothing to change or mess about with. Nice and simple, just the way we all like it. I've got 031 on the course. I've already set the nav radios. I just need to reset the MCP altitude, apparently. We're going to be using flaps 30 at 141 knots. I nearly said that wrong then. We'll probably add like a 5 knot difference onto the speed, just to be sure. 250 on the altitude now. And you can see on the EFIS there, it shows you where you're due to be at a certain time, like during the descent. It actually shows you, like, it estimates where you should be and what altitude you should be at what time. So I'll probably end up using vertical speed later on, but nevertheless, we will get this plane down, we will land, and it'll be another flight in the bag, hopefully. So I will catch up with you guys in a few minutes when we are ready to turn on to final for Lanzarote 03. Alright guys, so We are literally just a few miles away now, and we'll be turning onto the ILS. I have introduced speed intervene.
Ryanair 6626, descend to 3000. Descend into 3000.
3,000 feet.
Ryanair 6626.
And I believe 3,000 is also our missed approach altitude as well, so we can leave it at that. Engage both LNAV and VNAV now. I'm going to mess around with the speed as well. Try not to use vertical speed too much. But we're looking good. Can't wait to actually do the return flight. And if I just look on the bit of paper that I've got in front of me, the return flight is Ryanair 6627. We're actually currently with 6626, but obviously we're going to be doing the return flight as well. I will try as well to get the gate right. Whichever gate we land at or we arrive at, I'll be sure to depart from that same gate on the way back. No particular reason, but there we go. You can see that the ILS feathers are there. 10:53. 11 o'clock is going to be the landing time, hopefully, or the arrival time. I have gone a little bit into vertical speed. Just going to bring back the speed itself a little bit. Sometimes you do have to interfere with it. I just like to be in control. It's probably just me, but there we go. Speed's looking nice. Everything else is looking nice. Again, I'm assuming this is approximately the time that the real-world flight itself would have landed over at Lanzarote as well, because we did depart at the same time that the aircraft departed in real life as well. So, if all goes well, there's the airport, and if all goes well, we should land on time. I think it was about 11 o'clock, maybe like 11:01, something like that, like a few minutes after. So if we're lucky enough, we'll do the same. We've got flaps 5. I'm going to set the current heading at the moment. We're currently at flaps 5, just to help with the nose, which is perfect at the moment. Obviously we are descending as well. I tried my best not to use vertical speed. I don't like using it too much, but on this final sort of approach situation I like to use it just to make sure that I know exactly what's happening. But look at that. The water doesn't look that impressive, to be honest. I've turned off the effects. I might have to turn some water effects on. The only reason I didn't turn them on in the first place was due to like performance and stuff, but you never know. Might just be a nice little addition that I might be able to get away with as well in terms of performance, because this airport, I don't know where I got this Lanzarote scenery from. I can't even remember how I purchased it or where I purchased it. All I know is that it's FSX scenery, so chances are it's not going to be 100% compatible, especially at night time, with P3D. But lucky for us, we're not flying at night time. So flaps 30 at 141. I'll probably add like 5 knots onto that as well. I'm going to put that into the little memory device there.
Ryanair 6626.
Here we go.
Clear the final approach. Tower at the marker. Frequency 120.7. Cleared approach.
Excellent. We've been cleared approach. Clear for the approach.
Ryanair 6626.
We can activate approach hold in a second. VOR lock is currently engaged. We can bring back the speed. Approach hold, we can sort that out now. And we should begin our turn. We can take flaps 10. Flaps 15. Speed's looking nice. Nose is looking nice. We're not too high. We're okay. Glide slope's coming in. There we go. We have locked on. ATC should get onto us in just a second to tell us we're clear to land, and then we can drop the gear. There is the runway ahead. Weather's looking nice. Glide slope is perfect now.
6626. On final, runway 03.
Ryanair 6626. Slow to final approach speed.
Final approach speed 141.
Clear to land runway 03.
Final approach speed.
And there's the warning for us to drop the gear.
Runway 03.
And if we're in time, we can see it being dropped. Look at that. Lovely Ryanair 737-800 with winglets. Absolutely love it. Winglets? Did I just say winglets? I don't even know what I said. But winglets is what I meant to say. We can go with flaps 30 now. Everything's looking fine. Speed brakes armed. Gears down with 3 greens. We've got the speed set. We've got the altitude set. We've got the radio set, which we should have by now anyway, but there we go. Auto brake set to 2. (10:58 AM). Yeah, I need to sort out the water, to be honest. I would prefer it if we had some water animations. But here we go. Ryanair 6626 is on final for runway 03 at Lanzarote. It's been a really good flight, actually. I better not speak too soon, just in case, but there we go. This could all go very wrong very quickly. 141 is the speed. I think I'm going to add that 5 knots on, so we'll go to like 145 or something. That's only like 4 knot difference, but there we go. I'm not too fussed. 145 seems okay. The nose is lifting up a little bit. But that might be due to the wind. We have got a bit of a headwind. Looking good though. Scenery doesn't look that bad. I don't know whether the scenery is that I purchased is what's causing like the land over there to look nice, or whether that's just FTX Global. But I'm interested to see. It's 11 o'clock now. And if we look on the progress page, it says 11:01, so we should be alright. We should arrive on time. Looks like we will do as well, yeah, the second hand on that clock is almost there. It's sort of alright, the water, but I don't like the effect. We can take out the autopilot straight away. I've got a perfect visual of the runway. Try not to veer off course a little bit, because usually a little bit turns into a lot if you're not careful. We're sort of in line. We have got a headwind, as say it's blowing us slightly to the right of the runway. So we just need to keep that in mind. Tiny bit difficult, not majorly, but I have flown in a lot worse than this. And landed in a lot worse than this as well. Need to get back in that centre line though. Too much to the left. See if I can try and bring it back around without using too much rudder. Continuing. Looking good. We need to be a little bit higher, so I'll lift the nose up. I can't remember if I saw any pappies just then actually, but
30, 20, 10.
and there we go, we're down. Reversers are green.
Ryanair 6626.
80 knots.
Contact one on
Manual braking.
121.8.
121.8. Ryanair 6626.
We're down. Welcome everybody to Lanzarote. We can switch off the auto brake now, we don't need that. Flaps are already on the way up. I know the pilot would usually wait until the aircraft has been has vacated the runway, but let's try and get everything done as soon as we can. Nice rapid exit to the left here. Scenery is not that bad. It's not perfect, but I can definitely see that it's not P3D compatible, or fully P3D compatible. Nevertheless, all the taxiway markings are right and everything like that. They're all in the right place where they should be. So, there we go. We can come to a controlled stop. Clear that warning. Parking brake is set. It's 11:03 now. We can set the APU to on. Switch on the taxis and off the runways. In fact, no, we need the runways on. Sort everything else out. I always do that. I always switch on the taxi lights and then switch off the runway turn-offs, which, from what I know of, the runway turn-offs are used during taxi on the 737. I've no idea. But here we go. We've landed. We're on the ground. Welcome again, everybody, to Lanzarote on this 4-hour and 43-minute flight.
6626. It's cleared off the runway. Request taxi for parking.
RYR6626. Taxi via Romeo 2 to terminal 1, parking position 14.
Just selecting that. So that's parking position 14. I'm just selecting it on AFB, that's why the sound's gone a little bit. There we go. Parking brake released. We can also switch off the probe heats. Don't need those now. And we're at stand 14. Some more Ryanair aircraft there. We can clear the warning. I might as well get GSX to pair parking number 14 for us. Because it's right here. On the right. Just get lined up with it first before I start messing about with menus. Right. Parking 14, there we go. No, I don't need to follow me, and I don't need to be warped. We'll just select whichever one we've got. There we go. And everybody has spontaneously appeared at the stand. Switch off the lights. The marshal has been dispatched on site. We know that because we can see him. This is not going to be a perfect parking job. There we go. Parking brake set. And with that, we can switch off the transponder, which we should have probably done a little bit earlier. Transfer the power. We can cut the engines. And we can also set the passenger signs to off at this point. Request deboarding. And I think what I might do as well is just switch on some other stuff or switch off some other stuff to prepare the aircraft for the turnaround state, or just to shut it down. Connecting ground power just to make sure that nothing goes wrong, like we don't lose power, which we shouldn't do anyway, but... Doors, we can open up the forward and aft and the cargo. Clear the warnings there, and welcome everybody to Lanzarote. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys. This has been a fantastic experience for me with some new UK2000 EGPH scenery. If you want to see the return flight, then stay tuned to the channel. If you're not subscribed, subscribe already. If you'd like to support me, there's my Patreon and the rest of my social media links in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.